Welcome, Master Phil, Master Phil in your corner here at Undefeated Studios with Dougie Fresh Friedman. And today, gang, we're going to be addressing New Year's resolution and smarter goals. You know, saying it's 2020 and the new year and a new decade. And what are we going to do with this new chunk of 10 years that's upon us? You know, I mean, people are making New Year's resolutions left and right. They abound. Sadly, over 80% of these will be abandoned by mid-February. 80%. Do you imagine that? So, you know, like remember the old commercials with the sugarless gum? Was it Dentine or Trident? 4 out of 5. Dentist approved. So we got 4 out of 5 failures here, which is not so great.
We don't want that to be you.
No. How are we going to avoid this? That's the age-old question. How do we avoid this? I mean, and how can one increase their chance of success? So, you know, let's consider diets, for example, and say why we have such a failure rate. You know, over 70% of Americans are overweight. Okay, we've addressed this in other podcasts, and it's come up here and there here several times. And you know, unfortunately, I'm going to lay odds that number won't budge in 2020. I'll lay odds. You know, do we have any takers out there? You know, I mean, I hope sincerely that I lose, but you know what? Sadly, I won't. You know, you look at it and you say, well, how do we do this? How do we combat this? You know, it's all about planning and preparation. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And some other alliteration coming here too, because nice. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Just think about it. Proper planning prevents poor performance. So, you know, these sayings are here for a reason. You know, so how are we going to plan properly? What are we going to be able to do here? So many of us are familiar with the SMART goals. And if you're not, you will become familiar with it, you know, unknowingly or unwittingly. Maybe I was employing these SMART goals for quite some time, but, you know, someone has taken it and kind of wrapped it into to a thought process and a methodology. Which kudos to them, as I'm using it, and it works great. You know, it's kind of like we were talking about off camera before that when Billy Blanks came up with Tybo, there were a ton of us guys doing it. But man, he took it to the next level. He saw the future and hooked up with the right people, and then it exploded. But heck, we were doing a thing called aerobics, you know, karate aerobics, prior to Tybo ever coming out, and you know, none of us really, you know, thought to take it to the next level. We just looked at it as another workout to do. But getting to the goals, you want to be employing smarter goals. You know, it's funny. I was talking to one of my cousins, and she's a pretty sharp cookie. She's written a couple books, very successful. We were talking about SMART goals. Said, yeah, well, the new thing is smarter goals. So that you know, I delved into that, and that's why I'm bringing it here to us nice. Today. The goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant/realistic, time-bound. Those are our SMART goals. So what do you do with goals? Well, you want to go back and evaluate them on a regular basis, okay? And then you have to either recognize that you've achieved this goal and reward yourself for it, or if you're not achieving it, revisit the goals. Okay? So let's break each of these down. Specific. Why be specific? Heck, you know what? Because it puts something concrete there. Okay, say, well, you know, I want to lose weight. Okay, it's a great goal. Yeah, how much do you
1
want
ounce.
Right, you lost weight. So you need to be specific. You say, hey, you know what? I want to lose 10 pounds. Maybe it's 20 pounds. Maybe it's gain weight. I don't know. Whatever your goal is, and we're just gonna focus on the fitness and weight control aspect of this. This can be applied to anything you want to do. It can be applied to your success at work, your success in your relationship. Could be advancing your career, could be related to school, whatever it is. Okay? Specific. You want to be specific. Say, I want to lose 10 pounds. Okay? Well, is it measurable?
If you're specific.
Yeah. If you're specific, yeah. Say, my 10 pounds is measurable. Can I measure that? If you say, well, I want to feel better about myself. Well, how is that measurable? That's like a moving target. It could vary day to day, hour to hour even. Yeah. And I know some people minute to minute. So it's got to be something that is measurable. So you want it to be quantitative and qualitative. So we say, hey, can I measure this? Can you measure losing 10 pounds? Pretty easy. Step on a scale. It's not going to lie to you. Okay. So you want to have something that's measurable, achievable. Let's talk about that. Some people have these unrealistic goals, and especially when it comes to weight loss, or weight control, whatever you want to call it. And the advertisers prey on that. They say, lose 30 pounds in 30 days, lose 50 pounds in a week, all these crazy notions that honestly, even if you do achieve them, they're unsustainable.
Well, some of them are physically impossible too.
Oh, absolutely, and it's not healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I did my I did my thesis for graduate school, and it wound up actually becoming published and available in the library at American Military University about rapid weight loss, the detriments, and how to combat it. And these unachievable, unrealistic goals that people are propagating, that marketeers are propagating, that you can achieve, are unrealistic, and they set you up for failure. They set people up for failure. So you want to have something that's achievable. I mean, the other thing is that's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. Many people have gone into cardiac arrest from or kidney failure, other organ failure due to rapid weight loss. And the thing is, you didn't put the weight on overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight.
True.
Okay. If you say, well, you know what, I want to lose a pound a week. That's achievable. Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you want to lose a pound a week, that's basically a pound of body fat is around 3,500 calories. So if you operate on a negative caloric balance of 500 calories a day through a combination of diet and exercise, you will achieve that goal. So you have to have that negative caloric balance of 500 a day to lose a pound a week. And then you can achieve your goal. So that's something achievable. And if you're grossly overweight, you will lose more, because once it's just going to fall off you when you start exercising and eating right. You're going to lose a lot of water, weight, and so forth just by eating healthy and moving around. The next one will be the R. Is it relevant, or sometimes also called realistic? Is losing weight relevant? For most people, it is. For some people, gaining weight is relevant. So is it a relevant goal? Because it's got to make sense. Okay. Is it realistic? My goal should not be to be an NBA basketball player. It's not going to happen. I don't have the tool set. I don't have the height, the age, the athletic ability to do that. It's not going to happen. So it's an incredibly unrealistic goal. Again, do you want to challenge yourself on things? Absolutely. But you have to have something that's realistic. If it's not realistic, you're going to crash and burn.
And isn't it better to have goals that you can attain, so you get that happy feeling and want to achieve another goal, rather than something so unrealistic that now you're negative and I can't do this, I can't do anything, right. I can't achieve any goals. So.
Exactly, and that's why also you can have an overall goal, but you have little mini goals.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll liken it to martial arts. Okay, let's say you want to be a black belt. Well, if you show up your first day and you're having trouble knowing your right from your left when you're kicking and punching, you're going to get very discouraged if your goal is a black belt. Say, you know what? I want to be able to get this roundhouse kick down. That's a little goal. And that's why in my system, what I'll do is I put stripes in. So we have stripes that show for the particular rank that you've achieved that level. So let's say you get your red stripe. The red stripe means that you've done your kicks, your punches, and your blocks. So the student feels, hey, I accomplished something. I got this stripe. Oh, this is awesome. And eventually they get enough stripes to qualify to test. So you achieve your first level. So you have these little goals that go into the larger goal. So, say, well, again, let's go to weight loss. I want to lose 25 pounds. Okay. Hey, I lost a pound. That's great. Because I look at it this way. When I tell my clients that, oh, yeah, I lost a pound, I go, well, let's look at it this way. Let's say that could be a 2-pound swing because that's a pound you didn't gain and a pound you lost. Let's look at the upside of this. Say, oh, you only lost a pound, but you know what? You didn't gain a pound and you lost one. So, let's look at that. Then maybe the next one is, gosh, I got another notch off on my belt. So now, oh gosh, I moved my belt buckle. How awesome is that? Yeah. That's a great goal. Or or a woman, gosh, she fits into those pair of jeans that she used to wear. How awesome does that feel? These are little goals. These are small goals. These mini goals help build on successes, but also understand that you're not going to be successful all the time. If you have a 70% success rate on something, that's pretty good. Okay. And then you learn from the successes and then you build on that. You say, hey, I'm going to repeat this behavior that enabled me to be successful. And then you keep doing that. So you want to keep things relevant and realistic. Time bound. Okay, time bound, time based, however you want to term it. You have to set a time.
Oh, this is a big one, yeah.
It's huge.
It's one of the most important ones.
It really is because you are holding yourself accountable. When I was in sales for years, they used to, put the fire underneath your behind there and say, hey, you have to, here's your bogey. Okay, you want to get your bonus? You have to make X amount of sales in X amount of time for the quarter or for the year, for the term or whatever it is. Or we have these bonuses for the month or for the week even. And it's time bound. So you have to be accountable to this. Because if you say, well, yeah, I want to lose 10 pounds. Yeah, I just want to lose 10 pounds. It's just like, it's a realistic goal. It's relevant. It's good for me. But I have no time base. It's better to say, you know what? I have a 3-month window. I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 3 months. But if you say, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds in a week, that's unrealistic. Okay? These all have to work together. All these little positions here, these elements have to make sense and have to work together. So it's good to look at it and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to lose like 25 pounds and I'm going to do it in 6 months. That's a very realistic goal. And that's a time bound. Some people do it, maybe some people do it for a wedding or a high school reunion or something. Hey, you know what? Whatever you use to get there, use it. Get there.
And on the flip side, not only you have a date that you're reaching for, it's also going to get you to start and stop procrastination. Yes. So you're like, I got to start today, because I have only 2 weeks or 3 weeks before this wedding or whatever, or the summer's coming. I want to fit in this new bathing suit. Like, you got to start today.
Yes.
Don't procrastinate. Procrastinate. One of the biggest, things that people do when they don't complete their goals.
It's funny, because when I was preparing guys for fights, I would pick we'd have the date is, let's say, we're fighting in May or whatever it is, May 10th, and I work backwards. So what I do is I plan the training camp based on our end goal. So
reverse engineering it.
Exactly. So it's the same thing here. Say, hey, you know what? I have to lose this amount of weight in this amount of time, and then you plan it out. You attack this on a strategic basis, and then knock down one thing after the next. So these are the SMART goals. Just to let you know, they are the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, realistic, and time bound. So let's take it to the next level.
New and improved.
We have to get the in the SMART-E-R. The you want to evaluate on a regular basis. So what does that mean? Take a step back. Are these goals relevant? Am I achieving them? Are they achievable? maybe you looked at it and you said, hey, you know what? I'm unable to get this. So maybe you have to shift it. Or maybe things change in your life. Things change in people's lives. Uh, I had a goal where I was going to go in and fight in a professional tournament. I'd done amateurs. I was going to fight in a professional MMA tournament at 49 years old. I caught a shot, caught a nasty left hook, and my right arm went numb. So I had to change that goal. I had to be reevaluated, and I had to shift. So I changed a whole bunch of things in my life. Okay, so sometimes things happen. You have a new kid. You get married. You get a new job. Things change. You lose a job. Okay, if I wanted to be president of this company and I lost a job, well, it's kind of off the table now, isn't it? So let's you want to evaluate these things. So, and also you once you've evaluated, say, hey, you know what? Maybe I achieved this. What will be my next goal? I've achieved this already. Let's go for the next thing. And it's good to evaluate them on a regular basis, because that leads you to the next thing, which is recognize reward. You have to take time to recognize what you've done. And I know, honestly, I'm guilty of not doing this. I never rest on my laurels. To me, I think it's a good thing. But sometimes people say, hey, I was talking to this one guy, and I work 7 days a week. And he's like, Phil, you made it. Why are you doing that? I'm like, what do you mean? That's why I made it.
Exactly.
Okay. Because I'm willing to just keep going. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep moving. Do I try to find time to relax? Yeah, matter of fact, I just took my family on a vacation and so forth. So that was my reward. I recognized what I did. So I recognized myself from what I've been doing, and I rewarded myself with a trip with my family. But, you have to take the time and say, hey, you know what? I did this. It's okay to pat yourself on the back. And it's also good to reward yourself. Many people on a diet, they say, oh, I got my cheat day. Pfft, throw cheat day out the window. I don't believe in a cheat day. I believe in a reward. Yeah. You know what? I've been good. I made my fitness goals this week. I'm going to have that piece of cheesecake. Okay? If that's what you want to do. I look at it as reward because cheat. It has a negative connotation. Yeah. Reminds me of politicians. Okay, so I don't want that involved in my positive thought process here. We have a positive thought process, a positive act of getting in shape, losing weight, feeling better about myself. And why am I going to throw a negative thing like cheat in it? Okay, nobody likes to cheat. No, that's one of the most despicable things you can do, right? I mean, like you violate trust. Yeah.
And you're excited about it now.
Now you're celebrating cheating. And now let's say you don't get these goals. Like I said before, you want to revisit them. So we have to go in and we're going to revisit these goals and see where we're at. So we got to look back at them and say, hey, are these goals? Am I making the time? Am I making the criteria for time? Are they realistic? Are they achievable? Maybe it's no longer relevant. Okay, so you have to revisit that. And then maybe you shift the goal into something else and shift the tactics and change your focus. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't want to look at it like a failure, because I've had many more failures than successes, but I would not have had any of my successes without my failures. There's a saying that someone said, you can't consider yourself a fighter unless you're lost. You have to challenge yourself, and don't be afraid to fail. Give yourself the best chance of success. Yeah. You don't just go out there like, I'm not going to go and say, hey, I want to be an Olympic diver. Okay, that's definitely set myself up for failure. It's completely ridiculous, ludicrous for me to even entertain that. Or I want to be a gymnast. That ship sailed. It's never going to happen. But you have to look at the facts and say, hey, I gave this my all. What lessons did I learn from my failures to go back? Okay, so I can go back and use what I learned to help me be successful in other areas. So, the thing is that we have to employ this notion of how to succeed, give ourselves the best chance of success, and these SMART or SMART-E.R goals will help us do that. So if there's anybody out there, we have any calls coming in today, or anybody
Yeah,
want
so
to?
just so you guys know, we are taking callers. So just leave your phone number in the comments section. We'll call you right away. And we're taking callers today. Or you can leave a question in the comments section.
And we can address that. If you don't want to call, you just want to throw something out there.
Brendan Bear says, prepare to fail if you fail to prepare.
Absolutely, Brendan. Us. That's Kohai. He runs he runs an American Eagle studio up in New Hampshire, an extremely successful martial artist,
Nice.
a great competitor, national kickboxing champ, Arnold Classic martial arts champion as well. He wrestled in high school. He's done very, very well for himself. He's my number one ranked guy in the system.
Nice.
He represents the system and the school very well. And these things I pounded into him since he was 8 years old.
Nice.
Yeah. Now he's 40. Jeez.
He was in when I was in when you were in Waldwick. He was
one of your instructors.
Training, yeah.
He was helping. Right? He was an assistant then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So he's carrying on the tradition.
Nice.
Yeah.
We got a question. Why is procrastination such a problem? What can be done to fight it?
I'll give you an answer on that tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Why is it a problem? How do we avoid it? I mean, the thing is that people need to get started. You have to pull the trigger, and that's it. And you want to look at the situation and say, hey, why am I afraid to pull the trigger? Some people are afraid of failure, so they say, you know what, I'll do it later. And later never comes. When it comes, it's too late. The other thing is, there's another notion. Some people are afraid of success. Some people are afraid to succeed because then they have to be held to a higher standard, and it scares them a little bit. So the thing is that procrastination, putting things off, always comes back to bite you in the behind. I'll tell you this. I'll give you an example. When I was doing my master's, I was working full time, teaching at the college, being a dad, coach, husband, the whole thing, and I didn't have time to procrastinate because it would have killed me. If one little blip occurred, it would shut down and I'd miss something. Like I liken that. You guys familiar with the Cross Bronx Expressway? Okay, it flows fine. There's one little accident on there,
Yep.
it shuts down everything. Everything just comes to a halt. So I had no latitude to mess up, and so I would typically go ahead a week or 2 weeks, and I had a final project due, and I worked on it, and it was done basically 2 weeks before. Thank God I caught the flu after that. So if I hadn't had that done, there's no way I would have. I made it in time, and the procrastination, if I procrastinated till the end, I'd have been dead in the water. And there's a saying that, actually my dad used to say it to me all the time, is that people don't have the time to do things right the first time, but they always have time to do things over. Okay, so when you procrastinate, you rush through things because you have to get it done now. Hey, you know what? Some people work good under pressure. On certain aspects, I do as well, but most of the time the pressure I put on myself is to get it done before. Okay, that's a whole mindset. That's a whole mindset that has to be adopted, and you set these goals again, applying these SMART goals, time bound. Use that. Okay, can I finish this in X amount of time? Absolutely. If you procrastinate, you're going to fall behind. And knowing what's expected of you, and then setting these SMART goals will help you avoid the procrastination process. Procrastination. When you think about it, when you procrastinate on something, how enjoyable is it to do then?
Well, that's probably why you procrastinate. It's because you don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it. I'll tell you, this is funny because also the thing that I do, and I learned this when I was a kid. And maybe you think I'm crazy. Maybe I don't know. My grandfather would say, eat what you don't like first, and then save the better things for last.
I do that,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, you got the greens there. Maybe you don't like them. Now I like greens, but you know, you eat the stuff that you don't like first, and I save the favorite part for last. So I know I'm gonna eat that. You know, but I want to make sure I get what I need, the better stuff in my system first. It's the same thing when I'm at work. Like, I hate submitting all the accounting garbage I have to do every month. But you know what? What's the first thing I do? I do that. I get that out of the way. So get out of the way the things that you like least or the hardest things. Especially, I'll give an example, being in sales. Okay, I was in sales, corporate sales for 19 years. And actually, I guess I'm pretty much still in sales right now. You would have issues come up. There would be problems. And you know what? The impetus is not to call that person back with the problem. You know, say, gosh, oh man, you know, I know we're late on delivery. You know, you get the wrong color or whatever it is. Oh man, and you don't want to call them back, but you know what? Call them first thing. Make it your priority. Do what you don't want to do first.
Get it over with.
Get it over with, because I'll tell you what: the longer you wait, the worse the problem's going to get.
Yeah.
And then I flipped the script on that. And every time there was a problem, I looked at it as an opportunity. I still do the same thing with my students and my clients. When there's an issue, I look at it as an opportunity to prove my worth and solve their problem. So then, look, problems are going to happen. You know, and honestly, when I was in industrial sales and so forth, I say, you know what? We suck less than the other guys. Because we all suck. It's just the matter of sucking that you have. So we suck less. So I would, you know, approach it with that attitude. Hey, listen, things are going to go wrong. Everybody knows things go wrong. Okay, it's how you handle it. And also, this is something I learned in life, and my life became a lot better when I learned this in my late 30s. And the thing that brought on actually was my divorce. There's only one thing in life that you can control: your reaction to things that happen to you.
True.
You know? So if you have an issue and you just let it lie, it's going to get worse. You keep pushing off, man, that thing's going to turn from a mountain into a molehill, okay? Or from a molehill to a mountain. Yeah. So you want to take it from a mountain and make it into a molehill by addressing it and getting it over with. Hey, and at least you know what? It's behind you. And I'll tell you, that's also procrastination contributes to stress.
Yeah, because you're thinking about it.
You're thinking about it. You're dwelling on it. So you know what? Get it taken care of, and then approach other things with a clear head. I hope I answered the question on procrastination.
And that's why I think kind of like we're doing this today, New Year's resolutions, but I think it's also New Year's resolutions are kind of like a double-edged sword, where it's like, oh, I'll wait 3 months until New Year's to start my diet. It's like, no, you got to start now.
Yes.
So yeah, we're helping you guys and we're getting your New Year's resolutions going, but you got to start now.
You know what my New Year's resolution is?
What's that?
I don't have one.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't have them. You know what? Because I'm going to do what I'm going to do right away.
Absolutely.
Okay? Look, you know, when I wanted to do grad school, I took the test and I dove in. When I wanted to get my black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I started training for it. Okay? You say, well, I'm going to do it next week. I'll do it next. You know, sometimes when you're involved in one thing, you have to wait to start something else. Okay, that's 100% understandable. But if you want to do something as honestly, as simple as losing weight, as simple as becoming healthy, as simple as doing some push-ups, sit-ups, squats, bridges, just do it.
Yeah.
Just start. Start now. Okay? If you're serious about it, you know, again, why do you think that there's such a high failure rate of New Year's resolutions? Because here, people go and they attack it. Okay, say I'm gonna lose weight. I mean, I see Planet Fitness. They sponsor New Year's Eve, right? Why? Because they're showing that it's easy to go to their gym and just pay the fee, and you'll be fine. Okay, I mean, do you see all those New Year's Eve
I have
things?
not. I
Oh
haven't
my
seen
God! Well, A, the ads are all over the place. B, they're all wearing. They had these Planet Fitness hats in Times Square and everything, right? It's Planet Fitness sponsored stages up there. It's crazy. Why? Because they know that most people are going to go and they're going to get the biggest influx of members
Oh yeah.
during that time, and then
They're not going to come, and they're going to keep paying.
and they're going to keep paying, and that's where they make their money.
Yep.
They know that 80% of the people are going to flop out because if they had to supply the classes, the groundwork, and so forth for the space, the time for everybody that was currently signed up, there's no way they could handle it. There's no way on earth they could ever handle it. But they know that 80% of these people are going to join and quit, or not even quit. They'll just keep getting paid because the person say, you know what, it's only $10 a month or $20 a month, whatever. I'll go next month. I'll keep it going. I'll keep it going. I'll keep it going. Keep it going, and they never show up.
True.
They keep it going, and they ain't not showing. Right? So, they prey on this stuff. So what I want people to do is I want to give them the opportunity to be successful. And the way to do it is to embrace these smarter goals and just apply this philosophy. I mean, everything, this is if you need more information on SMART or smarter goals, they're available online. I do have it on my blog on my website as well, philross.com. Do we have any other questions or?
Enjoy your event. You got an event coming up?
Oh yeah. I have we have the first ever Body Bell Method certification coming up on March 8th.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I know you guys will be filming it and so
yeah.
forth. Yeah, it's gonna be
live
awesome.
Stream.
Live stream that. So there's actually gonna be 3 ways to get involved in that. First way will be show up, sign up, show up.
Nice.
Second way is to do the live stream, and then for certification, you send me a video. And then another way, we're going to edit this and put it up there for people to download it and then send me a video in order to become certified. And this is level 1. There'll be 3 levels of the this is Elite Level 1, there's Elite Level 2, and Elite Level 3. They'll all be rolled out within this year.
Nice.
Okay, so the material's done. I'm just putting it out a little bit at a time. So because I want to do it properly.
Oh yeah.
One of the best ways to look at SMART goals and to achieve things is, right when I wrote my books, okay, I had to do them in succinct orders. I've done videos, manuals, and so forth. You lay it down. You have your plan, okay, and then you roll it out. So, and I have a couple more books that are coming down the pike too. Yeah.
So there's 2 things I want to kind of run past you.
Sure.
I think it was a military sergeant. They kind of bleed into each other. A military sergeant it was like the 5-minute rule. Or the 5-second rule, possibly, and basically.
Is that when something falls on the floor to eat it?
Yeah. But like when you wake up, if you get up within 5 seconds, you're more likely to have a better day. If you like have a problem, if you attack it within 5 seconds or 5 minutes, there's something with a 5. But like you're like just gotta do it because after that 5 seconds, the procrastination and the pain
absolutely
tenfolds.
Yes, it's here. Just the things. So just look at this. If you get up and the first thing in the morning, usually you have to go to the bathroom, but if you start doing your squats, push-ups, sit-ups, and bridges, the first few of them, I mean, like you don't even feel them because you're still half at it. And then by the time you realize what's going on, you're already into it. Just do it. And there's a saying that they use in AA. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. You know what? It's not easy all the time, and I'm not going to say it is. And the mind is a funny thing. The mind is extremely powerful, but also extremely weak. So you have to exercise your mind too. The mind can become strong, but that's if you work it out. And is it easy? Well, it's easy and it's not easy. It's a difficult thing to get going, but once you learn how to condition yourself to do it, it actually becomes easy. It becomes rote. It becomes part of you. And so you just get used to it, and it just becomes like starting your car or,
Yeah.
drinking a glass of water or something. It becomes part of you.
And that leads us to the second part, is that all these, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, the smarter goals are leading to habit, to creating that habit.
Yes.
Where you're basically on autopilot.
Yes.
But the hardest part is that mental toughness in the first 3 weeks to plow through that. And then once it's habit, it's like when you forget, you're driving home, you forget driving because you do it so much that you forget.
Exactly.
You're just like, oh, I'm home now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the thing is, the hardest thing is to get started. Look at an airplane. Where's most of the fuel used? In takeoff. Okay? Once you take off, then you're cruising. The hard thing is to get going, get off the ground. That's the toughest thing to do. So whatever you're going to do to get off the ground, do it.
Yeah.
But we want to get you off the ground and get you going. There's that. I know they talked about that 3-week or 21-day rule.
22 days or something. Yeah.
Actually, that's kind of false. It's a false notion. There was a study done on this and showed that, well, it's really 3 months. I tell people, you know what, the 3 months have suck.
Yeah.
It's going to suck for 3 months.
Yeah.
But 90 days, if you do something for 90 days, you've created a habit.
Yeah.
You've created a habit. And don't give yourself an excuse. Like I say, you know what, excuses are like armpits. Everyone's got them, and they all stink.
Yep.
Excuses are common. Find a way to succeed. And these smarter goals will help you to be successful.
Yeah.
So we want to employ that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Corey, JC, do you got anything? By the way, guys, if you're just tuning in, please leave your phone number in the comments section. We're taking callers today. So last chance. We got a couple minutes left. But Corey and JC, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns?
Around the SMART goals, what do you have a recommendation as far as when you're talking about being time bound? Are you more likely to obtain a goal or work toward a goal if it's a short-term goal or a long-term goal?
How about if I say yes? Okay, depending upon the difficulty of the goal, the time will determine, or the difficulty of the goal will determine the time. That's why I really think that the smaller goals in between are crucial. Because again, if I look at it and say, hey, I want to lose 50 pounds, that's a huge task. That's a big task, okay? So I say, okay, I want to lose 50 pounds. That's my long-term goal, okay? So my short-term goal is to lose a pound a week, okay? So that's what you want to look. So yeah, there are time bounds, and again, they're dependent upon the difficulty of the goal or the task. I mean, you can say, I want to be a doctor. Heck, man, that's a heck of a goal, okay? But first you have to finish high school, then college, then med school, and so forth in order to get there. So, you'd have to do that with the time. And other things take X amount of time no matter what. You can't say, I want to get my master's degree, in 6 months. I mean, unless you only have a couple classes left, it's not going to happen. It's going to take you 2 to 3 years. So, yeah, again, it depends on the goal.
And I think something that what we kind of haven't touched upon too is there's a recipe to complete the goal. It's easy to say, I want to lose 50 pounds in a year and then a pound every week. But if you're not doing the right things to lose that pound, you're never going to have it. If you just go to the gym and just start blindly doing curls and you don't have a recipe for it, or you don't know what your caloric intake's going to be, or you don't see a nutritionist and plan out what you're going to do. If you're just blindly going to the gym and saying, I've been to the gym for 90 days, Master Phil, and I haven't done nothing happened. Yeah. Where's my good habit? You didn't do it the right way.
Right. You have to have a plan.
Exactly.
You have to have a plan. The other thing is too is that you want to look at many other things. It's called NEAT. It's called non-exercise activity thermogenesis. You want to add those. Okay, you know what? Walk up the stairs. Don't take the escalator or elevator. When you park your car, I always laugh at this. When people go to the gym, they have to get the closest spot. Why do you care about getting the closest spot when you're going to work out?
Yeah.
Walk 10 extra feet or 100 extra feet or whatever it is. Are you kidding me? How
Yeah,
often you see? I see
yeah.
people like pulling in. I gotta get right up front. Gotta get right up front. I don't want to walk across the
To
park.
my treadmill. Gotta get right up to my treadmill.
I gotta hurry up, get a closer spot so I can get on the treadmill. Come on, just walk.
True.
Okay? So, these are the things that that you can also do. You want to take a step back and look at people who are successful. Look at what they've done. And the funny thing is, I know I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers with this, but okay, I know Tony Robbins. Okay, the guy has been extremely successful, probably more successful than I'll ever be. But I just don't get it. Okay, he tells people how to do things, and he gets paid to tell people how to do things. But he's the one who makes the most money of telling people how to do things. Okay, it's like how many people have you seen that he's told be more successful than him? I don't know. Maybe there's a couple. Maybe they took some things from him and ran it up. Something, but the thing is that there are certain things out there that you don't just want to give someone money and follow them blindly. Mm-hmm. And I feel that that this happens a lot, especially with a lot of these self-help and these marketeers, using the little buzzwords and things. I know I'm kind of using them here with the SMART, but or smarter. But this is this actual quantitative stuff that's proven to work, and it's proven over time. Just somebody put it into words, or put a sequence to this, which happens to work very well. So, don't fall for a lot of these marketing schemes, which you see especially in the multi-billion-dollar weight loss or weight control industry. These they're using the buzzwords, they're tapping into people's weaknesses, and they're trying to exploit those. So, practice due diligence, select your goals, come up with a plan. If you need help, go to a professional. And say, well, I don't have time, I don't have money. You know what? Then you don't care. Mm-hmm. Then it's not a realistic goal to you. It's not important to you. And people waste tons of money on silly things that do not improve them. Like I remember, they opened up a new restaurant around the corner from my studio, and I see all these people with their stomachs hanging over their belts, with their bags of liquor with them, going in there, spend $300 on a dinner, or $250 or $200, whatever it is, instead of spending $150 a month to train. Okay. They have the money. They don't have the money for that yet. Mm-hmm. They have the money to go and gorge themselves and make their situation worse, and then they wonder why they have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, they develop CADs, and maybe they have ED or something else, and you wonder, what are you doing to help that? What are you doing to remedy that situation? So, again, I don't want to lecture people, but I'm here to help, and if anybody has any questions, they can always hit us up, and also hit us up offline. Do we have any other announcements to make other than so we got the Body Bell?
Got the Body Bell method coming
up. Check out Master Phil on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thank you very much. And this is Master Phil signing off. Strength and honor.